Hi, welcome back into Half Hour Huddle. I'm Aaron Suttles, the director of content for Yay, Alabama. Half Hour Huddle is our show that we're proud of, the piece of content we're proudest of here at Yay, Alabama, bringing our subscribers the up-close opportunity to engage with the great student athletes at the University of Alabama. We got a fun one today with Chris Braswell. We'll bring him in a second. Got a couple of housekeeping items first. We've had an overwhelming demand for our ticket exchange. So if you have any tickets that you're interested in getting rid of, we can connect you with people who are interested in taking those tickets off your hands. So just get in touch with us at info@yay-alabama.com. That's a ticket exchange. We've got plenty of people wanting to purchase. And so if you are looking to offload some tickets to remaining Alabama games, get in touch with us again at info@yay-alabama.com. Also, we got a couple tickets that just became available for Nick at Noon on Friday. It's a very popular game. It's the third Saturday in October. Rivalry rolls around with Tennessee Volunteers coming into town. So if you would like to listen to Nick Saban and eat some lunch on Friday, also let us know at info@yay-alabama.com. Also, make sure you're checking our merch. We got some great merch here. The Yay Alabama hoodies. We got multiple colors in that. We got some quarter zips that are available. So make sure you're checking out the merch and make sure you're following us on social media on all of our platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook. Okay, so I told you Chris Braswell is coming in. We've had his bookend outside linebacker, Dallas Turner. Dallas was the first one we ever had on Half Hour Huddle. And so it's thrilling to bring in the other outside linebacker for the University of Alabama, Chris Braswell, all the way from the DMV area. Chris has been with Alabama a while, so we want to welcome Chris into the program right now. Chris, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate that. How y'all doing?
Good. So I mentioned we've had Dallas. We had Tim Keenan last week, and it's a good time because this defensive line, this front seven, really seems to have come into its own. You guys are playing with a lot of cops. You guys are really harassing quarterbacks. Tell us a little bit about the evolution of this defense so far this year.
We got a lot of great guys. Obviously we lost a lot, last year, that being Will Anderson. And a lot of guys had to step up, but, we've been great, just been trying to get after the quarterback. That's kind of one of our biggest goals. And then obviously stopping the run as well, because you got to stop the run to get to the quarterback. But, that's just what we always talk about DOA, deal on arrival. And that's what we strive for, just getting after the quarterback.
So, I've interviewed you a few times, and you seem sort of like a guy that is very comfortable behind the scenes. You're not a huge self-promoter. You're not. I wouldn't say you're quiet because you got a great personality. But now that you're a starter this year, how has that personality, at least with your teammates, leadership, evolved for you?
Like I said, I'm a very great guy, obviously, but I've never been real flashy or nothing like that. Always been humble and everything, but. Nothing really changed. I've always been, the same person, everything, A lot of guys, they mess around with me and everything. Oh, now you're a starter. You got to do all this and be funny more and all that other stuff. I just be the same.
So one thing that I like about you is you're from the DMV area. And if you know anything about Alabama football, especially during the Nick Saban era, a lot of players from the area have come to Alabama and excelled. Terrell Lewis, Cyrus Jones, yourself. So I got to ask you some Baltimore-related questions. I think I asked you this, but for people who didn't hear that conversation, I've told you I'm a big fan of The Wire. I've watched that show probably 3 or 4 times through.
That's my favorite show, too.
My character is Bodie. I'm a big Bodie on that show. So did you watch the show? Were you a fan? I mean, obviously, you growing up in the area, you've probably heard about it.
Yeah. I'm definitely a fan of the show. Watch it all the time. I recently watched it, I want to say, last spring. I rewatched it again, catch up on little things and everything. But I went to school, went to St. Francis. That's right around the corner from, literally right there near Latrobe Projects or whatever. And we practice at Dunbar Field, which is right across the street from Latrobe Projects. So I kind of was went to school around there and everything like that. Familiar with all the scenes and everything, where they shot most of the scenes and everything like that.
Well, that's a great inside story. So, did they get Baltimore right? Did they do the story right? Is that how it really was in Baltimore?
I wasn't born when that stuff was happening, but a lot of people say they got it accurate, and A lot of people that they say is actually worse than what it was.
Wow.
In today's terms now. But like I said, I wasn't born, so like I don't really know if they got it all accurate, but I know a lot of it is based off of true events that actually happened.
Yeah, well, another thing I know about Baltimore is it's got an unusually large amount of guys that have made it to the NBA. There's something
Mhm.
about that area
Yeah,
in
it's a
ball.
real basketball heavy state. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of people sleep on Baltimore and Maryland. Like a lot of people don't think that we produce like athletes. Like we got a lot of basketball players, got a couple, you know what I'm saying, football players. Like we got some DMV guys that like a lot of people like to call, me being from Baltimore, we don't really associate ourselves with DMV, but that's another story.
Well,
But,
well, that's
but
my.
it's a lot.
I'll
It's
apologize.
nice. But no, it's a lot of we got a lot of people from the DMV area or in Maryland in general that's, in the NBA, in college, in the NFL. A lot of people just don't know. They just think of Florida, Georgia, and Texas and everything. But we pretty up there in numbers too.
So uh, let's go ahead and get started with some of our subscriber questions here. The first one coming up is from Jimmy. He wants to know what was good and bad about the cheetah package last year with 3 outside linebackers, and have you used it any this year?
Okay, so the positives was we had 3 athletic outside linebackers on the field that could pass rush. And it was very effective. And, we can get to the quarterback easily, different games. I would say a negative about it was when you're running that type of defense and it's a 3-man front, some teams are going to run the ball. So we've seen teams, when we line up in that cheetah package or whatever, they just run the ball because it's 3 outside linebackers on the field and it's like a 3-man front. So they would just run the ball. And have we used it this year? Kinda. It's just a different terms. Don't want to get into that much details, but we basically, yes, we have used the cheetah package this year. Just kind of different placements. Q is like the Raptor right now, and me and Dallas is on the edge. So it's basically like the cheetah package.
So that you talk about the negatives of that and teams being able to run the football. That's something teams really haven't been able to do, with the exception of Mississippi State, which I know Coach Saban said they committed to the run more than you guys thought they would, and I know
Mhm.
Deontay at inside linebacker was out that game, but you guys have been really stout against the run. And when you think about classic Alabama defenses, that's where it all started. Does that feel like that's where everything starts for you guys this year, stopping the run?
Of course, that's with anything. Like you have to stop the run first. Like in order to get in things like cheetah and get into your third down packages and everything, you have to stop the run. Because now when you stop the run, you force the team to throw. If a team can just run the ball and get however many yards they want to get, now it's like, okay, like you don't know if they're gonna throw the ball, like you don't know. So you got to put them in obvious passing situations so that you can be able to put your cheetah package out there.
And obviously, we featured him last week with Tim Keenan. How much is his emergence inside? He sort of stepping up's allowed you guys to do some different things with Jaheim and
Yeah,
a little
he's
bit.
been great. He's been
Yeah.
great. He's been a great leader too as well, on and off the field. Helping out guys with different aspects and things like that they need. But he's been great. Tim Keenan, that's a big dude now. That's a big dude up in there in that nose. That's a big dude. I'm telling you, he's hard to move. He can sit on double teams. Very great guy, great player.
If you have any questions or comments for Chris, click on beneath the video comments, and we'll feature your questions live here. Let's grab another questions that was pre-submitted from Josh. What did you learn from Will Anderson?
Well, that's my guy. It's like my twin. People say we look alike. He's a funny guy. Like a lot of people don't know he's very, very funny, very goofy, But I just learned just to stay consistent, and keep your head down and keep working, Where it was like like my brother and me, and we had a lot of conversations and everything. But he has a lot of humor. A lot of people don't know he's very, very funny.
I wanted to ask you, like, you look back a couple games ago against Texas A&M when you guys were just absolutely living in their backfield. Does there come a moment when you see panic in a quarterback's eyes that I don't want to talk about maybe they don't trust their offensive lineman, but they know that those guys coming across from them are living in their kitchen, so to speak. And it just seems like you guys were hitting Max Johnson on every single play. Does there come a point in the game where, Myles Garrett starts to do the crossover,
Mm-hmm.
like he's like sort of in that zone where you feel like you're on your game and they can't block you?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like, in the game, you kind of get that moment like, yeah, like he can't block me. Like we might as well just keep sending us on there on them edges. They can't block us. Definitely a lot of guys had that feeling in that game. And as far as the quarterback knowing, I mean, you really can't, like, you could see it in his eyes, like when you chasing him and you running, like you see in his eyes. But then in my eyes, and my eyes also getting big, like I'm right here, like my eyes like this. So, you could see in their eyes, like, oh, like, should I throw the ball away? And they trying to escape too, they don't want to get hit. So, their eyes is just as big, because they trying to get away from you. So, I mean, they do have a lot of expressions, when they see somebody coming to chase them, like they usually trying to get away, or they'll just fall down, take the hit.
Yeah. Well, also, we saw, I forget what game it was, but that Jalen Milroe took a big hit, blindside,
Mm-hmm.
and never saw it coming, just from the back. How tough is that guy where he just he lay there for a second, but he always gets up, and he's always like letting the crowd know he's okay, pumping the sideline up. Like, that's a big guy.
Yeah, he big, he's strong, man. Like I didn't see him squat almost 400 pounds, clean almost 400 pounds. Like he's a different animal. Like he's a crazy super athlete. Like, so when he took that hit and got up like that, like there was no surprise in me, because like I just know how he built. Like he just built different. Like he's not your average quarterback like out there. Like he's very tough, very strong, and he very durable.
Yeah, you talk about not your average quarterback. Poor Terrian Arnold got thrown off KJ Jefferson. Last week? Have you guys given him any grief about that?
Nah, not really, because like you just gotta look at it. Like you gotta understand. Like he a DB, probably with like 180. KJ Jefferson like almost 260. So like I mean, like he really wasn't like too much on him. We were just saying like you probably should have went for the legs, but then we were saying like you should have had help as well. Getting him down like. But I mean, nobody really gave him too much for it though. We was kind of like, we get a little pass. Maybe it was somebody different, like a linebacker, might have been a little different.
Yeah, it was funny after the game, before Dallas Turner went in to talk to the media. He was saying, "Listen, KJ Jefferson is as big as I am. That's a
he is.
Big guy.
Yeah, he's big. He's almost like a DN playing quarterback. Like he's big. Like he's strong too. Like he's as well not your average quarterback. Like he's not going down easy. Like it's going to take 3-4 guys to get him down.
All right, let's grab another question here from our subscribers here. I'll wait on that. Charles wants to know, how much better are you now this year than when you first got to school? Do you ever look back at like when you first got to college and you're like, obviously you're very confident in your abilities, but you're just, so much more now. You've grown so much more physically, intellectually, the playbook. You look back now on how much better you've gotten?
Yes, I've gotten a lot better, especially as far as technique. When I first got to college, all I cared about was pass rush, because in high school, like, you didn't really have to stop and run like that. Like, teams would run the ball here and there, but, they was trying to show up their quarterback, so they would just throw the ball. And we didn't really run a lot of schemes like how we run now in college. So when I first got here, I was all about pass rush. Over the years, I've changed like completely. Like obviously pass rushing is a big thing in any outside linebacker game, but you got to learn how to play the run and stop the run, because that comes first before the pass rush. So I felt like that was one of the things, like the more different things that I had to learn when coming in and that I got better at.
Yeah, I mean, what sort of transition is that when you're playing outside and you want to make sure that you set the edge first, so you're protecting against the run, but then you're also wanting to set that offensive tackle up for a pass rush? What's that learning curve like?
It's a big learning curve, because in college, like, you get different pass sets and different run sets. So it could be a run set that look like a pass, but it's a run. So like it's different types of blocking schemes that offensive tackles will throw at you. Versus high school is just you're gonna get a down block, or somebody gonna block out, or they may arc block you. Like those probably the three. Whereas in college, you have a plethora. You have hinge, arc, down, pull, tackle, pull. Like it's a lot. So it's a lot of different schemes that offensive gurus like to use with the tackles.
All right, so I got to take you back to the Texas A&M game. You told the media you hit 20 miles an hour on that field goal return. So I got to ask you, given your size, have you ever played any tight end? Could you play tight end?
No, I have not played tight end. I probably played tight end when I was like in Little League or whatever. But like that was like I used to play running back in literally for all my years. I played running back and DN. I could play tight end, but blocking, I mean, I don't like to block. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I like to get off of blocks. A lot of tight ends these days they just want to catch the ball anyway. So, I mean, put me out there for a little route or something. But I could definitely play running back though.
So
But,
you're gonna be our tight end, but we're gonna split you out. You're not an inline tight
yeah,
end. We're
yeah,
not asking
no,
to
not
block.
inline. You put me out, give me a little slant. You know what I'm saying, something like that. Don't put me out there. I'll block on the perimeter. A couple little DBs, but really, I could play running back.
I love it.
Beckham 2.0. I could play running back.
Now, I remember after that game, you told me a funny story that because it's not often that you block the field goal and then the ball bounces up to you, but you had a funny
Mhm.
story about you didn't really even know the ball was coming up to you, and it kind of knocked the wind out of you.
I didn't. So like I came in, I went for the block, and like I obviously like the stadium was kind of like quiet because they trying to let the field goal team kick the field goal. So I just hear the block, but like I don't know where it go. Like I don't know where the ball is, and the ball just like hit me in my stomach. And I'm like, bro, like I literally got the wind knocked out of me as I was running down the field. Like I could not breathe like at all. Like, and I'm all in my head. I'm like, bro, I gotta score. I gotta score. I gotta score. I gotta score. So I just kept running. But little did people know that I couldn't breathe. Like I had to get an oxygen tank on the sideline because, like I said, I got the wind knocked out of me. It was hard for me to breathe. I don't know if people know like what that feels like to get the wind knocked out of you, but it does not feel great at all.
If you've ever had the wind knocked out of you, it's a feeling you never forget. The first time it ever happens, it probably scares you, but to continue
Yeah,
running in a dead sprint and hit 20 miles an hour with the wind knocked out of you, man, that says a lot about your athleticism.
yeah. Sometimes you gotta just suck those things up and just go for it. I wasn't gonna let the wind being knocked out of me stop me from scoring.
So it's probably a good thing in retrospect that you didn't, because if you'd have scored, you'd had to go right back out there.
Yeah,
You called it back. The
yeah.
offense was out there, so
No,
you
that
didn't.
was good, man. I needed that little break. Like I
All right,
said, I went straight to the oxygen mask, got a little Gatorade and some energy chews.
all right. Let's grab another question here. This one from Austin. Speaking of that, how mad were you when your touchdown was taken off the board?
Uh, I was mad at first, but then when I found out it was Dallas, I was like, all right, like you know,
That's your guy.
yeah, that's my guy. I can't get too mad. And it's still on film, so I really wasn't too mad. Obviously, it would have been felt good to score back to back. Because the previous week I caught an interception for a touchdown, so it would have
Yeah.
felt good. But ultimately we won, so I wasn't mad at all. And it was Dallas, so I gave him a little pass. I definitely told him about it after the game. Was on him a little bit, but it was all fun and jokes.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Technically, that's a penalty, but that was pretty weak. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was. It
play
was.
him
It,
out. Gave
it
him a little
wasn't.
nudge.
Yeah, it wasn't called for. Like nothing was going to affect the play. Like him blocking him like it had nothing to do with the play. Like I was already like 20
Yeah,
yards down the field.
yeah. It was a fun play to watch. All right, let's grab some more questions here. This one coming from Bill. Tell us about an outside linebacker who hasn't played much, but who impresses you behind the scenes.
Really, all of our room. Keanu. A lot of people don't, probably don't know too much about him, but he's a really great outside linebacker. He does a lot of great things. He can pass rush, play run. Quandarius, same thing with him. Like they're both really, you know, great, pass rushers and everything. He can play the outside linebacker position. Hello.
Well, I think we've had some technical difficulties on our end. Our thanks to Chris Braswell for hopping on with us today. Great insight from Chris. Always appreciate the student athletes' time. Some funny stories from behind the scenes when you really get to know these student athletes, like the detail of the field goal bouncing up, hitting him in the stomach, knocking the wind out of him, and then him still hitting 20 miles per hour on his stats as he goes down and scores what we thought would be a touchdown. But Chris is certainly coming to his own this season, opposite of Dallas Turner, and that those outside linebackers, along with the inside guys, have just really sort of transformed this defense into a different level. I thought we all knew that they would be pretty good. Maybe they're a little better than we thought they would be, and that's all starting, as Chris told you earlier in half hour huddle, starts with stopping the run. But once you stop the run, then you really get after the quarterback, which they've really ramped up as the season progresses, and that will be called upon this week as Joe Milton in Tennessee comes to town, because Tennessee starts. People view Tennessee as sort of they're going to spread you out and they're going to throw the ball over the park. And obviously they did that last year when they put up 52 points on Alabama. But the offense really starts with running the ball. And I talked about they use all 53 of those yards on the width of the field. They run the ball, and they ran the ball against Texas A&M last week. So it's going to be incumbent upon that defensive line to stop the run, allowing Dallas and Chris to really get after the quarterback this week in Bryant-Denny Stadium. If you missed any of the show, go back and watch it. But we made a couple of announcements earlier in the show. We've had a lot of demand for tickets in our ticket exchange, which we recently released here on Yay Alabama for our subscribers. So if you have any tickets available that you're not going to use, get in touch with us at info@yay-alabama.com and let us know, and we will match you up with someone who wants to take those tickets off your hand. We'd be glad to facilitate that for you. And a couple of tickets have become available for Nick at Noon this Friday before the Tennessee game. As you imagine, with a rivalry game, that's going to be a popular lunch date with Nick Saban, listening to him speak before the third Saturday in October on Saturday. So if you have any interest, we have 2 tickets available. Email us at info@yay-alabama.com, and we will get you matched up with that. Again, thanks to Chris Braswell for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties that cut that a little bit short. Sometimes these things happen, but we do appreciate Chris joining us. These student athletes, I mean, they got their schedules are jam-packed during the week, and they take their time, 30 minutes out of their day to join us each week. So we can't thank them enough. We've had quite the rotation on Half Hour Huddle this year, especially on football. We've probably more than I can remember, but Malachi and J.C. Latham, Tim Keenan, Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. So Jalen Milrow. We've had some guys, and we appreciate their time in the middle of preparing for one of the biggest games of the year. Don't forget Alabama, Tennessee this Saturday at 2:30. Check out the Yay Alabama merch, like the hoodie that I'm wearing right now. You can get polos, you can get hats, you can get T-shirts, but our winter wear just released. We got some hoodies, we got some quarter zips, vests are available. So if you're wanting to stand out from everyone else wearing their Alabama gear, the Yay Alabama brand has really become a popular one in terms of our merchandise. We get complimented on it everywhere we go. I was out in town earlier this morning and people were complimenting on my hoodie. Where can I get that? You can get it at Yay Alabama. So check it out. Support the student athletes at the University of Alabama, please. We also just recently released our referral program. So if you have any questions on that, info@yay-alabama.com. Tell your friends to help Yay Alabama help the athletic department at the University of Alabama. For Chris Braswell, we thank him for his time. We will see you guys next Wednesday on Half Hour Huddle.